Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. There comes a moment in life when memories flood in, often triggered by loss. For me, it was the death of one of my closest friends at the age of 20. At first, the news didn't bring tears, but sitting quietly in the funeral home, staring at his lifeless body, a single tear slid down my cheek. As I watched the many people come to pay their respects, I realized this was the moment I would reflect on the past. One of the most memorable moments I shared with Liam was when we stumbled upon a peculiar necklace with a medallion attached. It was so unusual that neither of us wanted to touch it. But as we stared at it, the necklace seemed to beckon us. "Hey, Jaden, let's take it with us," Liam said, tapping me on the shoulder and catching me off guard. "Yeah, okay, but you're the one who has to pick it up," I replied. His expression was hard to forget, but it clearly said what he wanted. "Fine," I sighed. That evening, I entered the kitchen to find my mom making dinner. "Mark, I'll be working late tonight. After dinner, I need you to stay in and look after your sister," she said. "But Mom, I'm 15. And I had plans to hang out with Liam and play ball. Can't someone else watch her?" "I'll make you a deal," she offered. "If you skip your plans to watch Sophie, I'll get you that new game system you've been asking for." My eyes lit up at the thought of the new PlayStation 3. Without thinking, I agreed and quickly called Liam to let him know. He was just as eager when I told him about my mom's offer. During dinner, Mom laid out the tasks for the evening, including organizing Sophie's old clothes. I was to do this while she watched her favorite show, so she wouldn't get in my way. "All right, Squirt," I said to Sophie as I turned on the TV. "Stay put. Don't move, okay?" After getting her to promise multiple times, I headed down the hall to her room. I spent the next 10 minutes pulling clothes out of her closet and tossing them into a box. When I returned to the living room, I found Sophie playing with the medallion. "Take that off and go get ready for bed," I snapped. She started crying and ran off, but not before throwing the medallion on the floor, cracking it. Frustrated, I examined the broken piece, cursing her curiosity. But as I stared at it, something in me shifted. The anger faded, replaced by an inexplicable pull toward the medallion. My thoughts clouded, and I couldn't look away. As the night wore on, simple tasks felt impossible. But what scared me wasn't the difficulty, it was the strange urge I felt, as if I needed to wear one of Sophie's dresses. With her fast asleep, I thought it might be my chance. But as I approached her room, I heard my mom's car pull into the driveway. Reality hit me like a cold slap. What was I thinking? The soft fabric of the dresses suddenly seemed inviting, and my mind began to drift again, caught in an odd, dreamlike haze. The next day at school, I had as much trouble concentrating as I had the night before. Every time a girl walked by, my thoughts wandered. It was unsettling, thoughts like, will I look like that when I grow up? And that dress is so beautiful, I'd love to wear one like it when I'm her age. "Mr. Erickson, focus," snapped Mrs. Donovan, my 8th period math teacher. After school, Liam and I headed to the local mall to check out video games for when I got my PlayStation 3. But instead of heading straight for the gaming section, I found myself walking toward the girls' toy aisle. "Dude, what's going on with you?" Liam asked, grabbing my arm and pulling me back to reality. "There's a baby doll. It wets her pants and acts like a real baby," I stammered, feeling awkward. "Sophie's been asking Mom to buy it for weeks." I didn't sound convincing, even to myself. Liam just shook his head in disbelief. That evening, while I was doing my homework, Mom knocked and walked in. "Jaden, Sophie told me you yelled at her last night. Care to explain?" I put my pen down and turned to her. She was wearing something of mine, and when I asked her to take it off, she threw it, and it cracked. I reached into my desk drawer and pulled out the medallion. "I just don't get why she won't listen." "I see," Mom said, taking the necklace from me. The moment her fingers touched it, A sharp pain shot through me. I managed to hide it, keeping a neutral expression. But as the pain faded, a strange sensation washed over me. Isn't it beautiful, Mom? It'd look great with. I glanced at my closet, shaking my head. Are you okay, Jaden? Yeah, just a bit tired, I said, trying to push the feeling away. The urge to wear one of Sophie's dresses seemed to grow stronger with every minute. All right, then, she said, looking uncertain. I'll let you finish your homework. Just don't stay up too late. I won't, I promised, as she kissed me on the forehead and left the room. The next morning, I woke up feeling different. I had lost weight, more than I'd expect from the workout I'd been doing lately. My waist, hips, arms, and legs all seemed slimmer. I shrugged it off and started getting dressed in a pair of jeans with a hole in the right knee. It's time to get up, Mom called, opening the door and then stopping in her tracks. Sorry, Jaden. I looked up at her, knowing what was coming. Someone called in sick at the hospital, so I need to work a double shift. So you need me to watch Sophie, right? I said sarcastically, pulling a t-shirt over my head. Please, Jaden, she pleaded. Of course, when she begged like that, I couldn't say no. It was something about how women can manipulate even the nicest guys like me. Only if I can have some friends over this afternoon to play PlayStation 3, I bargained. Before I knew it, she agreed, told me Sophie had already had breakfast, and rushed off to work. As I walked into the living room, I saw Sophie sitting on the couch in one of her best dresses, watching a kids' show. Go to your room, squirt, I said, irritated. I'm playing my PlayStation. But Mom said, she started, and I cringed at the mention of Mom. I don't care what she said. I'm in charge, and I say go play with your dolls in your room. But as I looked at her in that dress, my words faltered. I froze, my mind drifting, and I stammered, I mean, dolls. Sophie studied me closely, a slow smile spreading across her face as I lost control of what I was saying. Dolls, Sophie repeated softly, her voice almost a whisper. What is happening to me? I thought, as my head nodded involuntarily, agreeing with what I had just said despite my best efforts to stop it. Her grin widened, her eyes shining with a gleam that was both unsettling and pleased. It was clear she was still trying to understand what had just happened, and oddly enough, so was I. Dolls, she repeated, tapping her finger to her lips thoughtfully. Without another word, she ran off and returned with almost her entire collection of baby dolls in her hands. Here, she said, shoving the dolls into my arms. Mommy said I can watch TV now. For a moment, I just sat there in silence, not knowing what to think anymore. I was a 15-year-old boy, holding dolls, something I never imagined I would do. All I wanted was to play my new PlayStation with my friends. But after the embarrassment passed, I found myself holding two of Sophie's oldest dolls, feeling odd. My thoughts started to slip, and memories of playing with dolls as a child slowly resurfaced. Before long, I found myself content, cradling and playing mother to the perfect little baby dolls. Sophie, I said, my voice soft and unsure. Yeah, Jaden, she replied, her attention still fixed on the TV. My voice cracked under the weight of a growing desire, one I couldn't explain. It was as though I wanted to wear one of Sophie's beautiful dresses. Sophie, sensing something was off, turned to me when her show went to a commercial break. I don't feel right, I said weakly. I'm going to lie down for a bit. Come get me if you're hungry, and I'll order something for us. With a nod and a smile, I left Sophie to watch her program alone. When I woke up later, only a few seconds before Sophie came to check on me for lunch, I felt a little better, but that strange feeling, wanting to wear one of Sophie's dresses, was still there, nagging at my thoughts. What happened here? She asked, noticing the changes in my room. It used to be messy, clothes scattered across the floor and DVDs piled up on the shelves. But now, the walls had transformed from grey with black trim to a soft pastel pink with white trim. My old shelves, once meant to hold trophies, now displayed my growing collection of baby dolls, which seemed to get newer by the minute. I cleaned up, I mumbled, still groggy. What do you need? I'm hungry, Sophie pouted in the most childlike way. All right, what do you want to eat? I asked, not realizing I was absent-mindedly brushing a strand of brown hair out of my face. Well, I added, pushing myself out of bed. During lunch, Sophie was mostly quiet, her pretty dress neatly draped over her knees. But my mind was racing. I want a dress like that. Maybe I can sneak one of Sophie's or Mom's. I shook my head. What am I thinking? Jaden, will you play with me after we're done eating? Sophie asked, her voice timid. At first, I was about to refuse, but before I could think about it, my mouth said, yes. My voice sounded foreign to me. Sophie's grin grew mischievous. Oh, Jaden. What? I squeaked, startled, pulling my belt tighter. Can we play dress up? She asked. I froze, my heart racing. Had I said yes too quickly? But again, my mouth opened, and before I could stop myself, my mind screamed, you want to play dress up? You need to play dress up,